Hello YouTubers, this is the noobifier. Last weekend, Atmo Esport hosted the Daymar rally, and it was a fantastic event that peaked at over 2,900 concurrent live viewers. The live stream was 12 hours, hosted mainly by Christian Gaming and Detox, who are both Star Citizen community streamers. Let me break this down for you in 7 minutes and 2 seconds. This event was not without some technical issues, but having seen others in the past, this one went off more smoothly and ran better than any previous year. I believe that everyone had a great time, and this event will only get better as we get more stability and server population caps increase. There was months of planning behind the scenes and the support of the community favorites such as GameGlass, JRDNF, Astro, Gamer Advantage, Optics, and even CIG pitched in by hovering an Icarus over the finish line, and of course, the prizes. It's also very important to mention all of the volunteers who officiated, streamers who provided the point of view, and of course, those who herded everyone to the start line on time. There was a quick segment from JRDNF about the trophies, their history with Star Citizen community, and of course, their future projects. Prizes were set by division with a range of ships supplied by CIG, personalized event merch from Meta and Atmo, plus the trophies by JRDNF, which are pretty similar to the actual Dakar Rally trophies, if truth be told. The rules are easy. The race was broken down into 3 classes of bike, rover, and buggy, and then spread out over many servers to accommodate the 150 entered competitors. If a server crashes on a 30k, efforts would be taken to reset if the race hadn't yet passed Egger Flats. After that, if there was a major server issue, the winner would be called as the person who was in the lead by the staff. The combatants, or racers, form up at the start point with the goal to make it through the checkpoints to the finish. From Shubin Mining to Edgar Flats is 92 kilometers, which is just over 57 miles. Then the racers turn hard right 90 degrees and head towards Kudra Ore over 418 kilometers to the south. That leg was broken down into 3 checkpoints, each with their own armistice zone for resupply and reorg. Teams are allowed a support craft of their choosing, filled with spares. However, the ship could not have a medical bay, as death is just that. Your race is over. Racers relied heavily on their support ships and support teams to provide spares and of course valuable navigation for both day and night. Without the support craft, there would be practically no hope of completing this course. The support craft are not permitted to interfere with other teams, but they can be used to bump rolled over vehicles if needed. All is fair in love and war. As soon as the race starts, weapons are free as part of the strategy. Group 3 was lined up first with 9 Ursa rovers, and they were released first because they would take the longest. Once the countdown zeroed out, about 2.5 hours into the stream, the races began one by one and the event was on. Shooting began immediately, but everyone quickly realized that it was a many-hour race, and as some separation was achieved, the fighting calmed down a bit. Many racers died in the first 20 kilometers of the race by crashing into rocks. As Crucian reminded us, pedal to the floor isn't always the most competitive. Detox confirmed for the live chat that there would only be one winner from each race class, because the race is marked on distance and time. So even if you finish first in your server, to win you would also need to beat the others from the other heats in your class. There was some real tactics being used where some who were in the lead decided to sneak into the low ground and basically do a laid-back patrol, ready to engage the second place rover as they passed. Captain Richard appeared as a guest commentator to give us the no-bullshit rundown of the race tracker. This solidified the speed difference between the bikes and the buggies as he brought us up to date. The racers continued into night, as Star Citizen includes a full day-night cycle, and as a note, currently in the persistent universe, there's no night vision assets. Racers relied heavily on their onboard headlights, and of course, the support craft was also used to illuminate the very complex terrain. It only took 40 minutes for the first Cyclones to get to Egger Flats. Like any spectator sport, the hours passed through great video coverage and commentary. Through regular updates from Captain Richard, the competition was closer than we thought, with only 1 kilometer separating the first 7 teams in all 3 divisions. At 1 hour and 30 minutes into the rally, the sun rose and we started to get that real Dakar vibe from this event. And players were making progress, receiving periodic help from the support craft. There was a well-deserved shout-out for Bunsen, who was the main moderator behind the scenes managing the hundreds of volunteers, and of course Corsair as the main driving force that made all of this happen. Team Tuber had a major upset only 10 kilometers from the finish line, encountering a sneaky rock that jumped out and took them out. This is expected even for veterans of the race because the terrain becomes much more complex and hostile nearer to the finish line. At 10 minutes from the 3-hour mark, some of the bikes were making their way to the finish line, and of course, a special shout out for CIG for providing an Icarus to mark the goal. Truly an unusual sight to see. Terada kept everything in frame and provided us footage that we'd never seen before in Star Citizen. 2 hours and 53 minutes, Team Mutant Motor Mob completed the course with their strategy of blasting past the checkpoints and not wasting any time, losing any momentum. This was not their first race, proving that practice and experience plus luck is key to the endurance. The other divisions continued, but as spares ran out, some of the competitors were forced to complete on foot. At the 3-hour 55 mark, Discolando joined to add feedback from CIG, highlighting their pride in the community achievement. Jared mentioned that recently the Planet Tech team culled the obstacle density down, resulting in better times. I was so entertained watching the competitors exploit the low gravity, resulting in some truly sick air and a true sense of speed. Pedal down on the flats, and it was so much fun to watch. The volunteer team returned the favor, thanking CIG for the support. Crucian goaded Jared into entering the Hurston Hurt Locker next year. He said he would consider it, providing that Xylo drove. Jared left by saying that the community needs to constantly push the limits, exactly like we're doing, as the developers watch everything that we do, and it helps speed up implementing adjustments and fixes. The event continued with the expected minor drama. More and more of the teams got knocked out of the competition for breakdowns, death, and the occasional dropout. Teams continued if possible, but many accepted defeat as their stockpile of spares were depleted. Near the 4-hour mark, Captain Richard updated us on bike progression, with some of the teams already completing the course. He then noted that the buggies were about to reach the finish line, being only about 30 kilometers away, and it was still anybody's race as the top 4 were separated only by 30 kilometers. Rovers at this time were about 200 kilometers out, but once again the spread was pretty close, with most of them being 20 or 30 kilometers apart. At the 4-hour 20 mark, the second buggy approached the finish line from Kudra Racing. At 4:24, we got a rare look as the support team for Team Fun Police worked to free their last spare Cyclone, and immediately after, they were able to interview Chili OG, who offered some perspective as a competitor. He said that this year was the best so far, and it was not without issues because many of his spares were destroyed before he got a chance to use them, and even his support craft was taken out. It is known as the dirtiest race in the verse, and he vowed to return for the rally and was also interested in the newly announced Stanton 7. I'm going to sum up there, but that doesn't mean that the drama stopped there. Many players ended up on foot. Many players who were looking like sure bets to win didn't. We continued to get interviews from the winners who offered great insight about their experience. And I'm going to put a list of winners and some select footage from the event. Thank you very much for spending your time with me. I have links to @esports, Twitch, and Twitter. Continue to follow me here and on Twitter. I'm going to ensure that you get the information that you need so that you know exactly about future events such as Stanton 7. Drive saucy, and I'll see you in the verse.